Hi everyone and welcome back to my Consultant Explorer channel. I'm Charlie and I'm here to help you explore the early career years of management consulting, help you to be successful at it and show you how to make the most of the opportunities that it opens up for you. I spent 8.5 years at Accenture building the most incredible launchpad for my own career, and now that I'm starting and running my own businesses, I get to choose what to work on whenever and wherever I want to in the world. And that is the kind of freedom that I can help you find in your journey, which starts just as mine did in management consulting. So, you may well be considering what career you should have, what you're most suited for, and what you'd enjoy the most. You'll be seeing lots of different marketing materials from lots of different companies who all want you to believe that joining them is your best option, and you're just not sure which one is. You may have spent a fair amount of time considering management consultancy. Now, as someone who's spent almost 10 years working for different consultancies, I figured that I might be able to tell you a little bit about what I know now, with hindsight and with experience from the inside. So here are my top 10 reasons for joining consulting, and I'm going to split these reasons into 3 sections. The first section is the compensation that you get in the immediate term. The second section is the investment that you make in your own future. And the third and final section is the exit opportunities that it creates for you. So, starting with compensation in the immediate term, what is it that you get as soon as you start working in consulting that makes it a reason to join? Reason 1 is well known, and you'll likely be aware of this already. Consulting work is inherently project-based, and projects always have a start date and a finish date, and they never go on forever. And this means that as a consultant, you're going to be working on lots of different projects throughout your consulting career. You wrap up one project, you move to the next. And in jumping from project to project, you're also often jumping from client to client, and from old team to new team, and from old role to new role, and sometimes even from country to country. It's very hard to get bored in this line of work because there is always so much that is new. There might be a particular role that you like a lot less than the last, but that's okay because your next role you might like even more than the first. Or you might get really sad that your current project is coming to an end, but that's also okay because if that project continued forever, then actually you'd get bored. If, like me, you're the kind of person who thrives on novelty, then consulting is exactly the job that you want to start in. If you get energy from newness, then you'll do your best work in consulting because you'll be continuously powered and inspired by novelty. Reason 2 is less broadly documented, and you'll see why. As a junior consultant, you have privileged access to strategic business information that your peers in other industries won't have for at least another decade. The reason that consultancies are brought into client organizations is to help them with their most pressing problems. And you're going to need to know the ins and outs of those problems if you're going to be able to help fix them. But your client isn't going to want the whole world to know about these problems, because public knowledge can push down share price and create further downwards pressure on the business. Now, as a junior consultant, you're not going to be invited to the super confidential board level meetings that take place to discuss these major issues, but you will learn lots of related information that help you and your team work impactfully on the project. This may not be secret agent level confidentiality, but it's still pretty cool, especially given that these companies are generally well-known global brands. Reason 3 you will have a sense of already because of the competitiveness of the application process. People who work in consulting have the privilege of working in a really big brain environment. Consulting employees are typically really smart, and as one of them, you will be able to learn so much from your colleagues. You may also make some friends for life there too. And not only are they super smart, they are also generally multi-talented and well-rounded too. As a consultant, your colleagues in general will be driven, ambitious, hardworking, diligent, empathetic, and even often sporty, sociable, and fashionable too. That's a very positive set of characteristics to surround yourself with and be influenced by. And last but not least, reason 4 is great compensation. You will work really hard as a consultant, sometimes to the detriment of your personal life, but you are compensated for it. Especially at the junior levels, salaries and benefits are very, very good. You will be able to afford to live somewhere nice, to go on nice holidays, and to socialize in nice places. There are usually great joining bonuses at graduate level, and even more decent bonuses the more that you're promoted. Benefits are generally really strong too, by comparison to other industries, with things like great insurance policies, pension contributions, cycle to work schemes, parental leave, and other company-specific things like, for example, Accenture has a reduced price share purchasing program. If you're looking for a job that helps you create your first savings pot whilst also supporting a nice lifestyle, then consulting ticks that box. Okay, our next section is investment in your personal future. These are the things where you don't get the benefit from them immediately, but you will be thankful for the benefit in the future. Reason 5 is related to the novelty factor of reason 1. Because you are working in so many different environments with so many different people and on so many different things, the amount that you learn is huge. Your learning curve is so much more rapid than it would be if you were in the same job for all of that time. And this is important because within a few short years, you're suddenly highly valuable. A highly valuable resource for a client project team, a highly valuable potential employee at another company, a highly valuable individual for your own venture. And if you can think of all of the experience that you would ever get in a long-term, full-time job in another industry, and then take your two hands and squish that all into a really condensed timeline, then that is exactly what happens to you as a consultant. Okay, reason 6, and it's really hard to describe this one in just a couple of words, but I'm going to call it professionalism schooling. Consultants work on projects, and projects are action and outcome oriented, which means that it's really important for consultants to spend all available time as efficiently as possible on completing the actions required and achieving the outcomes expected. This means that consultants have to be as effective as possible at their job, which in turn means conducting their work in a highly professional way. Really important basics become second nature, so much so that honestly you'll be shocked when you see that others, non-consultants, don't do them. Things like always preparing properly for a meeting, or always writing a meeting agenda in a calendar invite that you send so that everyone knows what the time is going to be used to cover and why they should go. Things like only asking for time with someone if you really need it and you both know how you'll use it. Things like creating powerful and influential presentation slides that both tell a story and relay all the appropriate information. Things like doing all the pre-work to align all the right people politically so that you can move forwards quickly with a company initiative. Once you've worked in consulting for a while, if you have the opportunity to go and work elsewhere, you will be amazed at what you know about how to work. It'll serve you for the rest of your working life and even parts of your personal life. Reason 7, rapid progression. Okay, this one has some short-term benefit too because everyone wants to get promoted quickly. But the key thing with rapid progression is that if you line up several promotions one after the other in quick succession, then very quickly you become much more senior than you would have been elsewhere. And that seniority starts to serve your own purposes. You can use it to drive more of the work that you personally want to do within your consulting firm. You can use it to enjoy increased compensation and benefits at an earlier stage of life than others can. You can use it to jump into a job where you'd be more senior than if you'd started there to begin with and worked up through the ranks. It's up to you how you capitalize on your rapid progression. Okay, final reason in this section, reason 8. Early and continuous management experience. I have other videos on this, but literally after 1 year in consulting, you can be given direct reports whose work you are responsible for delegating and managing on a day-to-day basis. A small handful of years after that, you personally can be responsible for the career development and progression of some of your junior colleagues. The exposure to people management and people development that you have as a consultant is unrivaled, and having that experience sets you up wildly in advance for becoming a senior leader in any industry, whether consulting or otherwise. The further up the career ladder you climb in any industry, the more you're going to have to manage people, and so being confident in that and having learned from your mistakes from when you were junior is such a bonus. So that wraps the investment in your future section, and now we're moving to the last section, exit opportunities. Reason 9 to work in consulting is prestige. If you can put the name and logo of a large management consultancy on your CV, then it will do wonders for your career prospects. That logo comes to represent your brains, your experience, your work style, and your ability to manage people. It shouldn't be the case that recruiters and hiring teams use that logo to make judgments, but it is. And so if you're lucky enough to be able to capitalize on that, then it will benefit you and your career. Our final reason, reason 10, is about low-risk exposure to entrepreneurial work. The more senior that you become as a consultant, the more you're expected to drive forward the business by selling more client work. Effectively, you're doing the sorts of things that an entrepreneur has to do too. Creating a proposition that customers want to buy, staying on top of market trends and evolving that proposition so that it stays relevant, creating a followership of people who want to work with you, and placing the right people into roles on a team so that they can deliver on the vision that customers have bought. Managing your project's P&L, or profit and loss, to always make sure that your firm stays profitable, and having and making plans to recover from any losses. And ultimately, owning a skill set and a related vision that makes you credible as a leader. It's lower risk doing this all within a consultancy because you still get a salary, even if what you sold hasn't been profitable for the firm. You also have a ready hired group of people around you to support, and a network of colleagues who have relationships with clients that you can use too. It's a bit like being given a ready-made starter kit for entrepreneurs and being given an opportunity to practice with it. And if you learn those ropes, then you have great experience to then use for yourself with your own business one day. So that wraps our 10 reasons to work in consulting, and I hope that by now you've been convinced that it's the right choice for you. If you found this insightful, then let me know by clicking the like button, and if you'd like to see what I post next, then definitely subscribe to my channel. Social media links are below if you'd like those, and if you have any questions or comments, then feel free to use the comments box below and I will do my best to answer absolutely everything. In the meantime, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great day, and I wish you all the best with your exploring.